Hi, I'm Christine, and I would like to welcome everybody to our third episode of Easton Library Community Book Chat. And as you can see, I'm back in the library. Yay. We are not open to the public yet, but we are offering curbside pickup currently. And a few of us are here every day to fulfill any book needs that you might have or answer any questions. So today I'm very happy to welcome our guest. He is the superintendent of ER9 schools, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Tom McMorran. Welcome.
Well, thank you. And this is a great day because we're going to talk about books.
It's always a good day to talk about books, right?
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. But before we talk about books, I just wanted to ask you a couple questions about, we've been doing the distance learning like everybody. And, what have been your thoughts on that and how it's been going this spring?
There's the old adage that necessity is the mother of invention. And we are in the process, all of us, of inventing new ways to be together.
Like now.
Like right now, sure. And distance learning generally you wouldn't find that adjective attached to the noun there, because learning is about the personal relationship that a teacher develops with her students and then that develops among the students in the classroom. So on the whole, I think we have to say it's going about as well as we can expect, but we have to acknowledge that in many or even most cases, that's not it's not all that good compared to when we're actually in the classrooms in a community of learners.
Yeah, I am just so impressed though at the efforts that everyone is putting in, because like you said, it's not a perfect situation, and of course being in the classroom would be better, but given what everyone has and the last minute sort of closing that we had, I think that like teachers and administrators have just really they're kind of going so above and beyond and putting in amazing efforts. I think it's fantastic.
Yes, thank you. I agree with that. I think that the families and the boys and girls and their teachers have all tried to put a brave face and do the best they can. I think our Samuel Staples teachers have worked very hard as grade level teams to try to ensure they can keep the kids moving forward in their reading and math and other areas to try to build community. Middle school is all about getting the kids in this time in their life to feel, not to feel awkward, to feel engaged. And so those teams have really thought about that. And it is, I don't think we can not give a high grade for effort. Certainly people are trying. Yep.
I could not agree more. We're all just doing the best we can, and teachers and administrators above all. So you're planning on retiring after school ends this June?
That's right. 35 years later,
Wow.
I'll be moving to other adventures.
That's great. Are you excited about that?
I am bittersweet about that. I care quite a lot about the boys and girls and their parents and the faculty and the staff here and the people at central office. And so I don't feel all that good about the timing. Just isn't great in terms of trying to transition to a reopening plan for the fall. And yet I have personal family reasons why I need to be available to care for my parents and my children and my family. So it's a bittersweet decision.
That I totally understand. But, thank you so much for all your efforts on behalf of all our kids. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So the book that we're talking about today, the book that you chose is We Free Men by Terry Pratchett.
That's right.
And he is quite the writer, huh?
Terry Pratchett's voice is so easy to follow. He is he's such a terrific writer in many ways. one of them is, in a few paragraphs, he can sketch out and evoke for you a whole environment. He can help you to easily picture the farm where Tiffany lives, or the hills where she goes tromping around, or the rivers that go by. He's really dynamic at creating character through the use of dialogue. I think that's really his strong suit. He gives each character a different voice, different grammar, different pronunciation, and so it's easy to come to know and like his characters.
Is this the first in a series? I know
This is the first.
Discord.
Yeah. So let me tell you about the We Free Men. This takes place somewhere in the past in England, and there's this super bright young girl named Tiffany Aching, who's about 8 years old, and she is out one morning with her younger brother when she sees these little 6-inch tall pixies, little fairy creatures. They have shockingly red hair and beards, and they're about this big, but they're super strong. They're blue, and they're a little bit naughty. They're called the Macfeagles. They are Scottish Highland warrior pixies, and they go on all kinds of adventures with her. The book starts when a couple of them are in a little coracle, a little bowl-sized vessel for getting across the river, and they say to her, "Watch out, you got to get out of here, because there's a monster in the water that's going to try to come out and grab her brother." So it's a very engaging book, and Tiffany is very smart and very brave and has some magical qualities. So she doesn't run away from the monster. She actually ends up defeating it in a unique way, and then sets off on a whole bunch of adventures.
It sounds fantastic.
Yes, and there's about 4 books in the series. So it takes her from about the age of 8 till about 17 or 18.
Oh, that's great. When did you first read it?
Well, I've been reading this to my own daughters are 24 and 27. And so we've been reading this book since about 2003 when it came out. It's a great book for parents to read to their kids, because you can adopt voices as you read the dialogue to your kids.
Oh, that is a great tip. I love that.
Yeah.
What kinds of books do you like to read generally? Do you prefer sort of fantasy science fiction, or what do you really enjoy?
Well, so I'm a pudgy armchair middle-aged guy. So what I'm reading is a little different from what I probably read as a kid. I think that that fantasy and science fiction are great topics for youngsters, because they basically ask the question, what if? What if the moon were a starship? Or what if there actually were good witches that wanted to protect people from monsters? What if the world were different? And so I do like, and I read a lot of fantasy and science fiction in the evening, and I consider that like replenishing reading. My favorite author is Lois McMaster Bujold, who has written a number of fantasy and science fiction novels. I think what fantasy and science fiction does for kids is it opens the horizon. It lets them see into other kinds of worlds. And then what happens in the We Free Men is that Tiffany, the heroine, ends up being transported into another world where an evil queen has taken a young prince hostage, and Tiffany has to rescue him. So luckily for her, the We Free Men go with her. So she's got a couple hundred 6-inch tall, fierce fighting Scottish brogue using warriors with her to battle the bad guys. My own reading, though, is my serious reading is in largely in the field of philosophy. I'm very interested in 20th century European writers. And then as an educator, I do a lot of reading about educational design, the interface of technology and learning, which is, kind of interesting now that we're going through it. The development of the history of ideas. But I think the fun genres feed the other in really positive ways. So I probably read about 75 books a year. This job kind of pulls you away from from the chair and has you spending a lot of hours in meetings and other things. But if we couldn't read, we can't replenish our soul, right?
I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. So luckily, we have We Free Men right at the Easton Library. So it's available to be checked out. And I'm definitely going to bring it home because it sounds fabulous. I think it'd be a great read over the summer. Super fun.
Absolutely. Super fun. And there's nothing in it that a parent needs to be worried about in terms of it's really wholesome and fun. And Tiffany is a tremendous character particularly for our girls who are smart and confident, and she has 6 older sisters. So
oh, wow.
In the book, so she wears hand-me-downs, and yet she's also got these great talents that emerge as the book goes on.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. So we have it available for checkout. We're doing curbside now, so you could give us a call or shoot us an email and ask for it. And it's also available as a downloadable ebook. You just have to check the Easton Library website and hit the search the catalog button to find it. So I want to say thank you again, Dr. McMorran, and best of luck to you in whatever your future endeavors may be. And have a fantastic summer. And just want to thank everybody for watching Easton Library Community Book Chat.
Yeah, that's great. Listen, we eat 3 times a day. We should read at least once a day for at least half an hour. That's my prescription. That's the doctor's prescription for the summer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.